He's motherfucking! He's something funky! He thinks he's awesome!
Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here to review another game for you. The game I am reviewing is Dark Age Z, and I guess they have this thing that says Beyond Desperation. And I know when you hear the letter Z, you're probably immediately thinking of zombies. And it's correct, zombies are in this game. But I want you to just take a look at like this photo on the front, and maybe you can see there's this medieval knight dude here, and then there's this gate that's opening, and you see the zombies coming in the city wall. So basically, the premise of this game, and I thought this was pretty cool, was that you can see back there, you can see there's like a city, like a future city there, like skyscrapers. And so the premise of the game is that apparently in present day, zombies have taken over whatever, and for whatever reason, the zombies, there's a magical gate or whatever and they've gone back in time to medieval times, and the zombies are doing battle with knights on horseback and archers and footmen and things like that. And so I've read a lot of zombie books. I've read a lot of zombie comics, and I've watched zombie movies and everything like that. And I don't think I've ever really. I'm sure there's something out there, and I'm sure somebody will say something, but I don't think I've ever actually seen anything that was really truly like ancient zombie or medieval zombie. So that's pretty cool, actually. But anyway, regardless, the premise of this game is that each person controls a kingdom, and these kingdoms are all warring with each other and like fighting over the crown. But then these zombies showed up, and so they've all banded together to work to defeat this zombie menace. And so then further complicating things is that basically the one person or the one kingdom that actually proves its worth by doing the best job at defeating the zombies will then be crowned the king. I believe that's how the game is working. I don't have the backstory or anything, but that's what I'm assuming. And so this game is technically about zombies, but it's more kind of a tower defense game with a lot of really funky resource management going on. There's a lot of little levers and gears that you pull that when you increase certain abilities, you're actually hurting yourself in other ways and something like that. And this is a game that I didn't really get the first time I played. It was kind of I kind of stumbled through it, and I didn't really understand what I was doing so much. I was I just, you can kind of focus on killing the zombies, but there's so much more going on, and how much, as far as risk and reward and things like that are going on. And so it took a couple more plays before it really started clicking with me, and this game really kind of opened itself up to me, and I really started enjoying myself. The whole process is that, and I'll explain this more when you actually get to see the game here when I do my gameplay, is that you all think of all the kingdoms are kind of next to each other, and so you share a battlefield. And so with 3 players, I'd be playing here and there'd be 2 people over there, me and him would share a battlefield, and he and that guy would share a battlefield, and and so we each have to kind of help each other out a little bit. And depending on where you put your armies and what have you, really determines what you're able to do the next turn and stuff like that. So if you one of the ways that you get victory points is by defeating zombies. But if you just load up a battlefield with a bunch of armies, you might kill the zombies and you'll get some victory points for that, but the next turn comes around, and because of the fact that you loaded up your side, you won't get, there's these little cylinders that are command points. You won't get as many command points, so you can't do a lot of the cool stuff, like drawing armies and drawing magical relics and things like that. And so by allowing your opponent to have the army and then to theoretically get the victory points, you allow yourself to get those resources. And so it may sound a little confusing right now, but hopefully when I show you how the game plays, you'll understand that. And so there's stuff like that that's going on. You can increase your you can research better technology, military technology, which will then allow you to reinforce your armies with other armies. So like you can gain, so they'll be tougher and stronger. But by doing so, you actually like limit the amount of, once again, these little command points that you get. Because this is basically the only resource in the game. Beginning of each turn, you total up how many of these you get, and then you get to spend those on different things like drawing cards or healing an army, reactivating an army that was defeated by zombies, things like that. And so you get to use those certain abilities and what have you. But so there's a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of like different gears moving. There's a lot of different levers I had to pull, and so it took me a while, like I said, to kind of get the game. But once it really started clicking, I really started enjoying it. It wasn't so much even a zombie game anymore. It was more of like kind of a heavier to medium, somewhere in there, Euro game, if you will. You never really do battle with the other people. I mean, you don't really fight them. Because you're all working together. But like I said, there's that weird kind of give and take that you have with each person that's around you. So, really enjoyable. I mean, but I'm getting kind of into my conclusion here. So I'm going to kind of break away, and I'm going to show you how to play the game, and then we'll come back here, and I'll tell you more about why I was really having a lot of fun with Dark Age Z. Alright, cool. This is the game board for Dark Age Z. Now, before I actually show you how the game is played, I'm just going to kind of show you what you're looking at here, and to show you some different parts of the game, and maybe explain a little bit as far as how the game works as I kind of show you this. So, this is, obviously the scoring track that goes around. These 4 little levels over here, these are different actions that you can take when there's an action part of the turn. I'll go through those when we get to that. But the interesting thing about this is that they start off, you move, at the very beginning, like you move this over 1, and like there's these costs or whatever to actually do the actions. And as you slowly move these markers over, they increase. And those cost these little command modules that you earn as you play the game. And so you just kind of keep a running tally, and depending on, and this is for everybody that does these actions. And so it just kind of moves along as the game progresses. And then when the turn is over, you'd think, okay, does it all shove over to the side? It doesn't. It's probably a little difficult to see, but depending on the number of players, it moves back a certain number of spots when you go on to the next round of the game. For example, like here, like this is like you get relics. You can, which are like magical abilities or like different items that your armies can use. And so like you can see the first one is a 2, so it costs 2 to do that, another 2, and then another 3, and so on and so forth, and it goes forward like that. Now, when the next turn comes, like this is a 3-player game, I've set up 3 different kingdoms that are set up. For 3 players, it says that it moves back 2, so you'd only move back down to there. You wouldn't go all the way back down to 0, and so you do that at the end of the turn. You get lots of different zombie invasion cards, and you get 2 separate zombie boss cards, and so then you kind of shuffle those up and you set up your zombie invasion. You turn 1 card over. The game lasts 5 rounds, and so the first round, like here, this is the zombie person, like Bloodseekers, and so this up here, is first of all, this right here designates how fast the zombies are. Now that does mean they move 2 spaces. What that means is that, once again, here you have this little track, and as the zombies gets closer to this location here, that's when the zombies actually do attack like each person's like little war zone, which are these. Once again, something I'm going to explain to you in just a second here. But you can notice that there's these different locations, starting locations 1, 2, and 3, and there's like a 2-player start location here, a 3 players, 4 players, and 5 players. So we're playing 3 players, and so this one, it starts off. You can see it says it's a 2, so it doesn't start all the way back and doesn't start all the way forward. It just, that's where it goes as far as like when it begins. And some of them obviously will be 3 and so on and so forth. The number of zombies that'll be there is this +1 and 3. You might be wondering why they just don't put 4 there, but I'll explain that also just a second here. So there's 4 zombies, and then the hit points of the zombies are +1, +2, so 3. And then finally, the damage value of the zombies is 1. Now, so when you turn the card over, you turn it over like so. And so when, like, theoretically, let's say we defeated the zombies, we got through the first turn, and then we go through, we turn over the next card. And here we have The Walking Dead. And so you can see, once again, they start at 2, there's 1, and so you can see 4 and +1, and you're like, well, what does that matter? So what you do actually is that you actually place the card like so. And so now you add that extra +1 in. So you can see, so 6 zombies and 4 hit points. And so as the previous zombies that you fight actually change the power of the next card that you turn over. Kind of a neat little thing, and it kind of ramps up the difficulty, obviously, when you start turning over the zombies, because that continues and all through every single card. So each round they're getting tougher and tougher. You do take the 4 zombies that you start with, and you place them on the end of this board, and this is like the frontier board. It starts at Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, until you finally get to the city gate. You notice there's these little symbols over here. I'll explain those in just a moment. I'm sorry, I said that a lot during this gameplay review, but just bear with me. That symbol right there represents those blue, those white cylinders over there, the command cones or whatever, if you will. And so when your next turn comes, you'll look and see how many of those you can actually see, and that would be your resources, depending on, because one side of this would be blue over here and one side would be green, and so you total those up. That's an army, so that's an army card, so you can see depending on where they are, you also get that. So there we go. Other than that, you can see these are the armies. When you draw an army card, you get army cards start of the game, but as the game progresses, you'll need to buy them or earn them in different ways. This would be like an archer, and you can see that it has a combat value of 3. The silver ones. The neat thing about archers is that they actually can work. They can affect the spot next to them, obviously, because they have ranged combat. That's the insignia, just designating what kind of unit it is. This is the zombie number. If this army gets defeated, they will create 1 extra zombie when they get defeated. Basically, the zombies are eating other archers, and they're rising from the dead. Let me find one here. I can show you a different color. This would be a foot soldier. You can see 9 combat ability, and you can see if they got defeated, they'd create 2 zombies when the zombies move past that location. There is also cavalry. I'll find a card, and they don't create any zombies. Miraculously, they're just immune to that, and plus they automatically will kill a zombie when they attack. And so you can notice, here's the cavalry 7, and they don't have any of that zombie marker up there. So they automatically kill 1 zombie, which is really important to remember, which I'll explain once we get to the zombie attack portion of the game. Alright, so as I said, everybody gets some army cards to start off with. The first beginning of the game, first player gets 3, everybody else gets 4. And next thing you're going to do is each person is going to choose a kingdom mission. So each one, these are different for every kingdom. And so in the blue kingdom, let's just take theirs for example, they have end game missions. So it's the very game. If you have the most relic cards in hand, you get +6 victory points. End game mission. If the boss dies in any of your frontiers, there's the boss zombie at the end, +4 victory points. And hold on. Let's see here. Daily mission. This would be one after everybody gets done with their turn. When you get done with your turn, you check and see if you've satisfied this. Whenever you have played 2 or more relic cards in this day, +2 victory points. And so then this is an ongoing mission. Every single time this happens, whenever you play a relic card, draw an army card. Alright, so let's just say you picked last time I was this one. I took this one, so I was focusing on relics for victory points. And so what you do is, to start off with, you put this like that on your player board, like so. And when you increase your ability, you notice that once again there's those little markers for the little resources. But anyway, so if you turn in an orange card, you get to raise your research by 1, like so. And so now you can reinforce with bronze troops. And you add those onto your boards when you reinforce the boards on there. And then like if you do it again, you go like that. Notice now you're down to 1 of those, and so on and so forth. And like so, this is turning in a silver and an orange or a gold, and then it's 1 and 2 of those of 2 of 1 and 1 and 1. So there you go. So there you go. So you'd have to, and so once you cover them all up, then you're able to reinforce the whole thing. But you don't get any free resource cones over there. Resource cylinders, I should say. They're just like called command modules, I believe, or command points. So that's how that works. But if you ever satisfy your research, you get to turn it over. And so with the daily mission, pretty soon you're probably going to turn that over pretty quickly. And then, but you just keep it turned over, and you just get to turn in for the 2 victory points each turn. So, so basically, each person will pick a daily mission, what they think they'll be able to accomplish. Here, I'll just show you the green ones, just so you can see what those look like too. So, like their ongoing mission, whenever you send an army of yours adjacent to another army of yours, reward +1 CMD. That's those cylinders. Your city gates receive 0 damage during a day, +2 victory points. So basically, you kill the zombies before they get there. If you're a player with most active armies in your frontiers, +10 victory points. That's at the end. And also, if both Zone 5 of your frontiers are active, +7 victory points. And by active, they actually like the armies haven't been like deactivated, meaning they haven't been defeated in that location. So hopefully you're with me here. And so that's after everybody's chosen their daily mission. And not daily mission, well, their mission in general. You never are going to deal with any of the other mission cards. You just ditch them, and then you just move on to actually, like, finally, you get to kind of play the game, if you will. So, everybody gets set up. They've got their army, so they got their 5 cylinders that they start with, and then you begin. So, the beginning of the new day, you have to you make sure that the zombie's in the right spot, and then you're going to go ahead and you've revealed the zombie, so you know how powerful it is. And then you put for player, you put an extra CMD in each one in this Pioneer little circle, Pioneer reward. If you trigger the zombie's movement and this through that thing, you will get to take one of these cylinders, and so you get an extra action. Basically, that's there to kind of prompt you to take actions to force the zombies to move, because once those are gone, they're gone. You will also turn over some commander cards. Number as compared to number of players, -1. Commanders kind of just will strengthen your armies in their fight. And then here's Alexander, 2, and he can be placed in zones 1 or 2. And his ability, army will not be defeated nor zombified. The zone that you put him in. And then here's the other one. Here we have Hyona. She can't go in number 1. She can go 2, 3, or 4. And unlock reinforcement sets. For the assigned zone only, army cards still required still required for reinforcement. So basically what that means is that you're able to reinforce that location with that. Here's another one. Here's Sylvester. He's got 3 power and 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5. You can go to any of them. And then at the beginning of the next turn, because you still have them at the beginning of the next turn, these guys don't ever get killed. They don't get turned into zombies. You would get 2 of those CMDs, those little white cylinders that are over there. So anyway, here, I forget which. I grabbed 3 by accident. We'll put down Alexander and Sylvester over here, so like that. So there, we put down those 2. And then basically what happens is if you pass, you're able to take one of the commanders, and then you can't do any actions. And the next person who passes gets one as well. And then the third person, unfortunately, they are not going to get a commander. And then when you get a commander, you just you assign it to a zone in front of you, and then they're able to help fight the zombies, and they help your army fight the zombies in that location. So in the planning stage, the first action, and you'll be doing a lot of this, and I'm going to have to move this out a little bit just so you can see the board. You can notice, like as I showed this earlier, there's the different zones or whatever. And when you do your planning, you get to pick. One of the things you'll do is place armies. So what you'll do is, and you have to fill in this frontier board, as it's called. You have to fill it in from zone 1 all the way to zone 5 if you want to go to zone 5. And so what you will do is you will, like, when you have an army in your hand, like, you know, say you just, you know, have this like infantry army, and you know that you have these 4 zombies to deal with. So you'll be placing the zombie on here like so. But then you'll have to make a decision of whether or not you want to, like, if you're the green player over here, do you want him on your side, or do you want to give him to the blue? And so, like, if you want him on your side, you cover up that side, and so forth. And then so in, like, and I should mention, when you place a zombie, you do move the zombies along the track, and then if that was the first move you do, you get one of these CMD resources. But then, so like the next person then would, like, maybe, like, you know, they'd say, well, I want those, so they give another one, like so. And perhaps then, you know, we go ahead and we get that one gets placed, and so on and so forth. So you're kind of building up the defenses of this location slowly but surely. And so, and then, like, finally, like, maybe there's one more. Like, this is the opening round, and so, you know, you're not expecting things to be super difficult, but just in case, you know, like, these are all like actions to, like, place the armies on these spots, like so. And so we'll just kind of move that. So that's one of the actions as far as, and so with those 4, you know, 1, 2, 3. So, and those probably would have been gone. And obviously, like, there's other zombies being placed at the other frontiers as well in those locations. So I don't want to, you know, like, make it seem like this is the only one you have to worry about. The zombies attack all of the locations equally. So you have to kind of build up. And because, like, you know, the Green Army has to worry about that frontier as well, because if the zombies get to the end of that city gate, it affects them, and so on and so forth. So it's one of those things where you do have to actually be concerned either way. Now, the second thing, once you... Oh, and I should mention, there's a couple other quirks. Like, if you ever... Like, if the, like, zombies are, like... If there's ever, like, an army that gets defeated, the card actually gets turned over like that. And so you actually... And they don't... and they stay there. And so you have to actually replace it. And so when you replace it, you just remove it off the board and you put it down. And so if there were, like, 2 armies that were defeated like so, you have to replace the first one and then the next one like so. If you ever were to push a army off of the board by placing another army card, because there isn't room, you could then shove one off the board by placing one down. You do actually zombify them by doing so, and so you'd add zombies to the... So if, like, you pushed this one off, you would add 2 zombies to the attacking zombie crew. So it's just something to keep in mind. So you can also, as an action, if you've collected a relic, you know, by using these actions up here, and, like, here's just like a Star of Dawn Phase 2 item. Exchange loyalty of 1 living army in a target frontier, or swap location of 2 armies. Just, it's some way to break break the rules of whatever. So, like, you'd have a relic in front of you and you could use it. But once again, like, that's one of the things where it causes the zombies to move forward on their walking path, if you will. And then finally, you can research that research military technology, and we've already shown how that works. But that also, as an action, you know, like, if you research, then you move this up like so. And then that also causes the zombies to move forward. So you can see with all three people doing these actions, and you each take an action as it goes around, you can see how the zombies are going to be very quickly moving towards the end of the path. And so, you're worried. Now, there is an action that won't cause the zombies to move, and that's actually this chart up here that I talked about earlier. Basically, like this one is to draw two military cards. So, like, you just pay one, and you could draw 2 army cards. That one, as I explained, is like to build relics. So you just pay the cost, and then you can draw a relic card. You can also, there's also refreshing, like your entire hand of cards. You just pay, and like you can discard whatever army cards you have in your hand and draw those in response. Like, so if you discard 3, you could draw 3. And finally, you have the ability to reactivating a defeated army. If you have an army, as I said, like that was defeated, like maybe last turn this guy got defeated and the zombies got it, you can pay the 2 there, and then you just flip it over, and you can immediately change, and you can move its loyalty as well. And that way you don't have to actually get it discarded, you can actually just reactivate it by paying the cost. And that actually won't move the zombie track, something to keep in mind, because it's pretty powerful as far as that ability goes. And then finally, like, if you don't have any actions left, or you just don't want to take any actions left, that's when you can pass, and then you could draw a commander, if there's still a commander available. And then if you draw a commander, then you can assign it to whatever location you want. So I keep moving this back and forth, but this is a lot of boards in this game, and so you could assign it to whatever spot you wanted. So you can even assign it to the very first one if you wanted, so you can try to make sure that they stay powerful. I think so pretty straightforward as far as that goes. So after all of that is said and done, the planning stage is over. And I didn't actually do anything over there just because I didn't want to go through each and every step. You can go through phase 3, which is rallying. So that's where you can play any number of any relic cards that you have in your hand if you want to at this point. And also that's when you can start reinforcing. If you have armies and you have the ability of the military technology, you've moved up on that board, you can then start reinforcing the armies on your board in phase 3. And that actually, obviously, the zombies have already, if either everybody's passed or the zombie gets that spot, and it doesn't matter if you've passed or not. That was back in phase 2 of planning. And phase 3, you have the situation now where you can then reinforce your armies if they aren't tough enough and you don't think you're going to be able to defeat the zombies. So after everybody's done that, play the relic cards, reinforce their armies if they're able to. Now you actually have to do the zombie invasion. Now this is a little tricky and it's a little mathy, but once you learn it, it's pretty straightforward. What happens is that you have to actually, you determine the power of the army in question, and then you compare it to the zombies that are fighting. So in this case, let's not have that leader there with his extra 3 just right now. And so we know there are 4 zombies, because the card over here told us that we put 4 zombies on there. And then we know also that they do they have the hit points of 3. And so we total up the total attack power that is there in that location. And in this one there is a 9. It's probably easier if we turned these all to be the same way, like so. There. So we know that there is a 9 attack power in that first spot. And so what we do is we take the total attack power of 9, and then we take the hit points of the zombies, 3, and we divide the attack, we divide the 3 into the 9. And so what happens then is that means, so 3 and 9, obviously, basic arithmetic, that is 3. And so 3 zombies are going to die, but 1 zombie is going to be left. And so you can take these zombies and remember that's pointing this way, so they're the green player, and they can place those 3 zombies on there like that. But this is going to get defeated. And so you turn it over like that, meaning that the army was crushed or whatever. And we're going to add 2 zombies because they nibbled on the infantrymen, and they added 3 zombies, and they move on to the next location. So you can see this kind of can start stacking up a little bit. So now once again we have those 3 zombies with the 3 hit points. Well, we have an attack power of 7, so that's but you think, okay, well, that's not good, right? But we do have an archer, so the archer will in fact help out. So they add their attack value of 4. So now there is an 11 attack power there. So 3 goes into 11. Well, it's not. 3 goes into 11. 9, 3 times 3 point whatever it is, and then that is going to be enough to kill the zombies off, like so. And green will once again get those zombies on their board with the points. And so that is how that works. Now, if it goes all the way to the end, like so, and they get to the city gate and they aren't destroyed, you leave them there because they will be worth negative. They're worth negative points to the players that have the zombies actually reach the city gates. And so at the end of the turn, end of the zombie attack phase, where you're determining how many points that everybody gets. So you'd go through that. You do that at every single one of the different things. If there's 5 people playing, it's probably a good idea that everybody just does the one to their right. I think that's the easiest way to do it, and you just kind of figure it out one by one. If there's any questions as to how if it's this or that, and maybe you have 2 people do each one or something that affects. But we found that we played the game just to have the person do the one to the right, and it seemed to work really well. So after all of that is said and done, there's a couple other things. I wanted to show you one thing. Let me find a cavalry unit. There's one of the things about a cavalry unit, and there we go. There's a cavalry unit. Like here. They only have a 5 attack power. But the thing about the cavalry unit is that they actually always destroy a zombie. So, if you had a situation like this, let's say the zombies just were crushing or whatever, and they were running rampant through here, and they had taken out all these different ones. And remember, there are 3, and there were 2 zombies coming, and there was an attack value of 5 in that spot, and that's all there was to preventing the zombies from getting to the city gate. Well, the situation you have there is that remember the hit points of 3, so 3 goes into 5 1 time, so you're only going to kill 1, but the cavalry automatically kills 1. They just, because they charge for it and they kill a zombie before this, so they actually would kill 2. It's because they get a free one. So that's one of those cool things about the game that you have to remember about the gold units, the cavalry units, which is pretty awesome actually. So anyway, so after that all is said and done, everybody's figured out how many zombies they've killed and everything as far as that's concerned. You go to the end phase, which is you're getting ready for the next day. If anybody succeeded in their daily mission, let's say, this person, the green, no damage went to their city gate, so they get those victory points as far as that's concerned. Then you get 1 point for every zombie that you've destroyed. So we showed the green got 6 in that situation, so they get 6 points for that. And then if their city gates took any damage, you'd minus that as well. If you kill the zombie faces, you actually the zombie bosses. The zombie bosses. You get 5 points for killing a zombie boss. And there's one other thing I didn't tell you about. See this little icon here that has the city wall on there. If you have a non-covered wall protection icon, meaning that you didn't cover it up with an army. And if you have a non-protection facing towards you in Zone 5 in the frontier, 1 less victory points is deducted when your city gate is damaged. So you would actually lose just a little less victory points if you weren't in charge of protecting it, basically, because somebody else was supposed to be doing it for you. So you return all the zombie tokens back to the big zombie pile at the end of the turn. Then you figure out you pass it to the player who has the lowest victory points, becomes the first player the next turn, and then you start it up again. And that's when you go through the whole process of setting up the next turn, finding what the next zombie is and the powers, whatever. And that is the phase then finally where one of the things you will check at the very beginning is how many CMD, the CMD points you get, the white cylinders. What you will get then is, as I said before, you'll total up how many of these you see. These little flag icons here, depending on which ones are uncovered, and then you get those cylinders handed out to you. And it isn't always going to be 5. It'll be different and it'll be changing. And like there's commanders that actually give you those and stuff like that. And so you hand those out, and then you begin the next turn. And you go through the whole process again of trying to protect you from an even tougher zombie, and then you do it again, and so on and so forth, until you finally get to the big bad boss at the end, like so. And then the boss comes out and begins ramping. Seek out the frontier of the highest attack value remained, plus 5 victory points for the boss terminated. And so he kind of bounces around and attacks everybody, and you have to defeat him. And once that's all done, you total number of victory points, and whoever got the most points is the winner, and then is crowned the king of whatever this world is. I forget what the name. I apologize. So, but there you go. That's like that's how you play the game. It's not every single rule. There's some other stuff. I invite you to go ahead and read the rules on the Kickstarter. You can take a look at that as well. But let me tell you exactly why I really enjoyed playing this game with my friends. You know, I don't know what's going to happen when this game comes out. I really hope they don't have like figures for the zombies or whatever, because I like the cubes. You know, it's kind of like when Dominant Species, a game I love, and if you watch my review, you know I love that game. I've seen people that have upgraded that so they actually have little tiny figures for their animals and stuff like that. And I don't like that. I like kind of like the stark, abstract almost look to it. This is a game not about Chrome. This isn't a there's no dice. You know, there's some randomness with the card draws, but there's really no weird Ameritrashy anything like that going on. This is a very solid Euro design. But regardless, so if you're listening, Jerry, one of the designers of the game that I've exchanged a few emails with, no little zombie figures, please. All right, so there you go. Dark Age Z. I went into this in my introduction. It isn't a zombie game per se. It's like I said, it's got a little bit of tower defense thing going on. There's some little bit of conflict there, but it's all about the decisions in this game. It's all about, do I give you the army so you can get victory points, or do I so I can get more command modules the next turn, or I can get more armies the next turn, things like that, or do I or do I go for the victory points and then shortchange myself the next turn, and so you kind of have to play off the other players and see what they're doing. If they're giving you armies, you give them back armies, and it's also it's like you want to be like the first person to get there, right? You want to be like the first person in line. You want to have that front army there to get those zombies and to get them. So like you're playing those cards, but each time you do those actions, each time you place an army, you're moving the zombie closer and closer and closer, and that adds a really cool aspect to the game as well. Because a lot of times when I didn't want especially when I thought that the two frontiers by me were pretty well ready to go, and I thought I had built them up sufficiently, and I didn't think maybe some of my opponents, like 5 players, this game takes a while, but it's really fun, it's really in-depth. You can kind of start doing those turns to kind of speed the zombies up and move them quicker down the path. And you have this wonderful moment, it sucks when you're on the receiving end of that, because you're like, I'm trying to get this set up, stop, and like the other people are doing these actions that are just getting the zombie closer and closer and closer to that point, and that you haven't maybe gotten the full complement of your defenses set up, there's a really good chance that you're going to lose victory points because you're not going to be able to stomp the zombies and they're going to get to the end of the track. And so that's an awesome little thing. It's like you and the other players can kind of control how that whole planning, how that's setting up, how fast that setting up stage goes by. An aspect that I really enjoy about the game. And I keep saying that there's all these different aspects about the game that I really enjoy. It's complex, and it makes the little tumblers and gears in my head, it shakes the rust off them and starts clanking along, it has that, it gives me that wonderful, I've said this in a few other videos, the wonderful little aha moments where like I'm able to just perfectly figure out, because in my brain I've worked out the math where I said, okay, there's 7 zombies, and they have this many hit points, and so then I need to be able to defeat that many zombies, and I need exactly like 17, or I need like 16 or more military power in that one spot, and then I'll be okay. And then I figured that out in my brain, and I've got it all, and I've just set it up perfectly with an archer and a commander and like a relic, and like I have that, yes, I've done that. And that's kind of like what I shoot for in games like this, that are kind of a little bit mathy and have a lot to do with what your neighbor's doing, that interaction back and forth. And I like it when I can actually like put something together that like does exactly what it's supposed to do, and those are those satisfying moments where you get those, and you get that giant a chunk of victory points, with the zombie cubes after the fact, and you trade them in, and so I like that aspect of the game. And also, on the same coin, but the other side, it's very frustrating when you're unable to get that aha moment. But it's also fun. I always have fun when I lose at games. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe just because I lose all the time, and I've kind of learned to like it, I guess. But it's one of those things that it kind of inspires me to like get the game out again and give it another try. So for all those reasons, it's just a really good game. I don't really think the theme is really prevalent. I mean, if you hate zombie games, I don't think you're really going to have a problem with this one, because the zombies isn't really a zombie game. Sure, it's got that element to it, but it really isn't. I love the art. I really hope they stick with this kind of dark and gritty art. It reminds me a little bit of I play lots of zombie type games, I've played it with the cartoon zombies, and I played it with the grim and gritty zombies, and I kind of like the grim and gritty a little bit more than the cartoon, and so it has that kind of nice dark Dark Ages, the name of the game. So I dig that. I like the way that works. So there you go. If you like medium to heavyweight Euros, I think you're going to like this game. If you like the idea of tower defense, I think you're going to like this game. If you like the kind of give and take gears and pulleys that you find in some Euro games, I think you're going to like this game. So I urge you to check out Dark Age Z, and if you have any questions about the game, I'd be more than happy to answer those to the best of my ability. Just post those, and I will do just that. So until next time, thank you very much for taking the time to watch my work here, and in the meantime, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye now.